whole thing.
All right, the map is Eye of the Storm, and we are watching something and we know not what it is. Blackheart and Orangeheart are walking to each other's bases. What? What? Why?
Science calls this a base trait.
What is the ETA? This is a 5-minute walk, and they're just walking it. Why are they doing this?
Normal.
What happened? What happened? Hold on, I'm trying to decide. I'm looking at chat. I'm reviewing chat to see whether or not there was something that was decided on before the game started, and I don't see any messages between them.
In the soon-to-be top left corner, we are going to have Blackheart, who's still on the way to his base. In the soon-to-be bottom right corner, we have Orangeheart, who conveniently renamed himself to Blackheart to walk to the bottom right base. I know what this is. They're just confusing us. They want to have us. They want us to have no idea who we are casting.
Oh my goodness! Why? All right, I'm going to +2. Okay.
Okay. Let's just pause the game and resync it when they arrive at the
Let us speculate for a moment on the perfectness of this build order. This transcends all other build orders in that it is perfect. It doesn't even require any buildings. They've exceeded the limits of Subcom. They no longer need bases. They no longer need units. All they need is their commanders in the other person's base. And you win because you've captured their base. And both players get to win. So it's even better. Everyone wins. There's no way that this could go badly. And they're shooting at each other.
I might have a small problem though, Blackheart. I mean, Brink. What? I'm confused now. It's starting. Brink.
What is your problem?
People are expecting me to explain the build order in the chat.
Oh no. Oh no. So, Heaven, can you tell us about the brilliance of this build order and your dissection of all the details that go into it?
I think this is too brilliant for me.
It's beyond the level of your intellect.
Yeah, these are high-level players, higher level than me. I could not possibly understand the genius that is this build order.
Well, they're in each other's bays now, so...
What they are, not yet.
So... bays, not base. B-A-Y-S.
Oh, base. 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 Right.
You know, when they first started walking, I was like, so they're going to be going first Naval Factory? That's new. And then they just kept walking. Maybe they weren't willing to exchange slots, but one of them wanted to play from the other side because their build order is dependent on which direction they face on the map. And so they decided that the best way to solve this problem was to trade bases.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay then. And they're back.
Okay. Going to +0. I'm at 6-5 now.
You'll catch up to me soon enough. All right, so there's a land factory. They're both building. Hallelujah! We finally get a game.
I think Ray has a head start though. Wait, we have 2 Blackhearts now? No, this is Mephi. Okay, right.
Okay, so the one labeled Mephi is Blackheart, and the one labeled Blackheart is Orangeheart, which is also Mephi. Does it make sense now? Are you good? Are you good? All right, so Mephi is in the bottom right-hand corner. He has gone first land, 5 P-Gens, is going second air factory, picking up a couple mass extractors and building an engineer first. On the north side, we have Mephi, who is Blackheart, who is UAF, and going for 5 power generator, second land factory, first engineer out of the factory, 2 mass extractors from the ACU. Exactly the same build. It's symmetrical factions, symmetrical placement, symmetrical build orders, and they have even exchanged each other's names and bases. What greater friendship could you possibly have between players? All right, I leave that in your hands, Heaven. What do you know about this build order?
Not a lot. Like, I got only one build for this map, and it's very air-centric. It doesn't use a lot of land, and it uses Navy relatively quickly. I cannot see any one of them using it, so I wouldn't know what they are doing, I guess.
I see 2 air factories planned for Orangeheart in the top of his base. Looks like Hydro, couple P-gens, air factory, bunch of P-gens. That's going to give him a total of 3 air factories, and one of them is going to come online shortly after the Hydro is done. So it seems like a reasonably well-planned build. And then on the north side, Blackheart's got a single air factory in his base, another on the Hydro, and then just power spam planned. So maybe not quite as air-centric of a game.
I think the air factory in the core, as opposed to next to the Hydro, is actually important because you want to have a time-based production lead, and by building it next to the Hydro, the first air factory, instead of building it in your core, you give this away. Like you give up about the time-based production lead in air units, and that's why having this in the core is important. But about how many air factories you want to have, I think like this map is quite binary. So there's like one air engagement at some point, and the winner of this air engagement is typically the person who wins the game. If the air engagement is early enough and there are no or not enough other options to recover from lost air. And that's why I find 3 air factories more comfortable than 2.
That's one of the things I struggle with on Eye of the Storm, because there are so many mass extractors that are so far flung across the map. And if you don't have air control, or at least you're able to contest air control, then you're going to get bombed out, and you're going to lose all those extra mass extractors out. And that's one of the things that I really struggle with, because if I try to get Navy and air building at the same time, there's a lot of mass requirement in that, especially if you want to build quite a bit of Navy. So you have to have these expansions locked down, and it's very difficult to keep control of them if you're not balancing land and air and Navy correctly. So it's kind of like Tag Craftius Maximus in that you have to build all 3 to a certain degree, but it's much more difficult to, throughout the entirety of the game, balance the 3 against each other and maintain control of enough of the map that you have the mass supply you need to secure the Navy win. Because in the end, the Navy is what's going to win you the game in like 95% of the games on this map. But getting there is a problem.
What works for me most of the time on Eye of the Storm is to just not build a lot of land. I've got like 1 factory building engineers, the first land factory, and I sometimes reuse that. Instead of engineers, I build tanks, and that's... Oh, I found Petrich. That's usually enough, right? And that's because of the travel time involved in this map. I mean, large-scale T2 land, I can sort of see this working out here, because pillars are just so epic, but in general, this is not a map in which I would want to build a lot of land.
I am
by the
loving
time it
this.
arrives, bombers will have killed it.
Yeah. You can say that, but I have lost a game to strictly land spam on this map before, so you do have to scout and prepare for it, at least in some cases.
I've lost to people before who didn't build land at all and just made air and later Navy on this map, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Because, again, the map is so far flung, if you just build a mass of gunships, you can raid all over the place. So it looks like Blackheart is going to get the center island, which is a little bit of a big deal because there's 4 rocks totaling about 500 mass in reclaim that are going to give you a pretty significant leg up. Plus you get the 4 mass extractors in the center. Now, Blackheart is going to secure...
Not Blackheart.
Blackheart is going to secure one of the rocks and probably get a Mex. But Orangeheart, who is Blackheart, is going to kill that engineer, and then Mephi is going to be able to secure the island and get the rest of the reclaim.
Guys,
Good Lord.
it's very easy. Blackheart is playing black, and Orangeheart is playing green, which is not orange, but he's not black.
Don't bring any more confusion into this.
I just fixed all the confusion. Just
All right.
look at the black guy with the black color being Blackheart. Easy, right?
So you were talking about that early air win. It looks like Blackheart might be getting it right now.
That's not Blackheart though.
Yes, it is. Blackheart
Yeah,
is winning air
just
control. I'm not
You won it.
confused. You're confusing yourself. Okay.
I'm not confused. See,
Blackheart
even
is
Natalie
now
says you're confused, Break.
Blackheart is now the only person with interceptors. Although Orangeheart just rolled 2 out of the factory, so that's a thing. But he does still have the air control.
We don't have a lock on the chainsport, but there's still an emergency drop because, of course, Mephi doesn't know the chainsport wasn't locked. He could have totally used it to expand, but you know,
Oh
he
well.
didn't.
It is what it
Right.
is.
That's the nice T2 mix from Blackheart. Very fast, actually, very fast.
I love the napalm on the UEF T1 bombers because if it's placed correctly and the T1 units stay in the napalm long enough, it is a one-hit kill on T1 tanks. Was able to pick up the lead 2 tanks on the bottom left-hand side. Blackheart has got a T2 mass extractor already, as
Yeah,
does
and
Mephi.
Orangeheart too. Yeah, actually, this build looks quite competitive in the count of air, land, and the navy timing, right? But it still gets the T2 max. I think I want to steal it because like I kind of do something similar with less land, but I don't typically have this fast T2 max.
This is an interesting pathway because Orangeheart went to the center island and got all of the stuff there and secured his foothold. And then he's moving his ACU down to the bottom left through the water. He's going to be shedding some HP on the way though because there is a T1 sub that is harassing him. And it looks like he's just going to pretend that it doesn't exist and walk to the beach. If
That's how you deal with T1 subs, yeah.
Blackheart's about to have 2 additional T1 subs though, so if he were to send those down, he might be able to deal a relatively significant amount of damage to that commander. I don't know. That's probably just the inner snipe everything voice that I have, but it would be interesting to see. Oh, and he is doing it. Yes, he is.
I kind of like how both players open submarines and not frigates.
We've also got hover tanks from the top. Blackheart is already T2 building a T2 P-Gen. He's got a transport picking up the Riptide, and we're going to see a drop with a T2 hover tank. Have to see where
On
that
one
one
of the
lands.
fingers, I suppose.
What?
The fingers, right? The things sticking out of the
Oh,
bomb.
yes. Possibly. We'll just have to
Yeah.
see. Looks
The
like
bomb
transport
finger.
stalled.
I'm at 15 minutes.
All right, I am 5 seconds behind you. I'll speed up for
Cool.
just a second. And we're good.
Yeah, so more important than bombers on this map, I'd say are chainsports, because like if you have excess build capacity, you can just take your engineers, put them into a chainsport, and convert one of those figures, right? And then
Yes.
you have a nice eco boost. You can of course also drop combat units, but typically what I find myself having the most of on this map are engineers, and they can reclaim, they can also convert enemy stuff. It's impossible to defend all of these figures against this sort of attack. I like how this transport had a Riptide and an engineer, so the engineer can actually build the mixes the Riptide destroys. And this is going to be faster than just converting, because, well, the engineer takes longer converting this.
He's going to convert the low HP mechs. That's unfortunate.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Oh well.
But probably not such a big deal, I mean...
Literally one shot from the Riptide would have gotten that. Okay, so we got T2 land from... Hold on. From Mephi as well. That is building a Riptide that will probably go to defend against the Riptide in the north, but that Riptide is going to pick off a couple of T2 mass extractors before its death is made certain. While on the north side, we do have a T1 point defense guarding the pass against incursions from T1 units. So all in all, Blackheart is doing pretty dang well on his map control. He does have a very forward-looking position for his ACU as well. Although, Mephi is kind of moving his ACU up that way as well. I don't know. This is relatively odd placement. I tend to think that that's a risky position, but I guess with the tentative grasp at best that these guys have on air, navy, and land, your ACU is probably not in any significant amount of danger no matter where it's at. Although looking at the amount of T1 bombers that Blackheart is building, people might need to be worried about some form of snipages, whether that is HQ or ACU.
Blackheart is in a very good position, I think. He's got so much more eco than his opponent. His ACU is in an aggressive position, and he's converting these fingers, right? Plus, he's dealing damage to the enemy navy. One of the factories is going down, I think, before the submarine finishes.
There's 5 subs in the water now, 6 subs that are going to be moving into the navy base, so that's going to be the end of naval production for Orangeheart. Mephi's got one more factory that's about to drop a sub, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. So it's going to be down to hover units.
Some of Blackheart's submarines are AFK. I'm kind of confused. Like, mistakes like these, like having a navy and only half of it is shooting, are sometimes what gets me killed, right? But Blackheart, he makes these sort of mistakes, and he still wins easily, right?
He left the factory on less than 100 HP and just went away. What on earth?
Maybe he decided that it's better for his opponent to keep it. I don't know. Because like it's spending eco on a regular basis on something that he may have the upper hand against with so many submarines already in the water.
You can think about it strategically, but we also just watch these players exchange bases at the beginning of the game and troll with names. So there is the distinct possibility that they're both just drunk off of their left buttocks and just messing with everyone right now.
It's probably better not to think at all. You're right.
Oh, George is apparently back over in the chat.
Oh, I remember reading the George name with many letters, right?
Yes, yes. Apparently he found his FAF account.
Good.
Got some air scouts moving around the north side. Blackheart has got a very firm grasp on air control, I would say. Let me actually get an interceptor count here. Orangeheart is on 32, and Blackheart's on 30. Nope, hold on, 44.
46,
but some of them are out of fuel.
I'm at 1940.
I am at 1939.
And I keep forgetting this is not a live replay.
We've got gun upgrade going down on Mephi's commander. I keep zooming in and it says Blackheart. So Mephi is going for gun comm. I'm not sure what that means because there's not really anything to use a gun comm against, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's a comm drop, maybe it's Maybelline. We'll see in a few minutes, I'm sure. Mephi is...
He wants the gun comm because like he needs to have some sort of firepower, right? But he doesn't have the eco for stuff that costs a lot. So gun comm is probably the cheapest way of getting long-term firepower. Like you can see how like what? Okay, this is reclaim. Okay, this makes sense. Like if both players aren't reclaiming, Blackheart has twice the eco of Orangeheart. So maybe that's when you want to go gun comm because you can't afford anything better. And gun comm still deals relatively much damage to anything that comes.
I'm amazed that you put gun upgraded comm on the bottom of priorities. Although I guess on this map, when you don't have a distinct advantage towards land units unless they're hover, then that does kind of make sense. Speaking of hover, we've got quite a few tanks moving out. Mephi is putting a couple of Riptides over to the right. We saw a little bit of a raid to the north that was shut down by gunships. We're seeing hover tanks hither and yon scattered about the map. But the gunships that are coming out from Blackheart are doing a pretty good job of shutting that down. And something to remember is that UEF does not have hover flak. So flak will have to be left behind on shore at any times that the tanks move out into the water. And that can lead to some difficulty in dealing with the gunships. Another air engagement, and it looks like Mephi...
Same numbers.
Yeah, Mephi definitely had a better turn at the start, but now that the interceptors are scattering, it looks like Blackheart. Yep. Blackheart is the winner.
Oh, right, this is not a live replay. Oh, whatever.
Nope. Just click on the names. Click on the names.
I should. Somehow, this is one of those games that doesn't make sense. Like, even past this weird introduction of both players walking into the other guy's base, like, Blackheart had the upper hand so quickly.
I think that we have seen several very weird games today. There have been several extremely atypical experiences. And we're watching one now that I still am not comfortable calling, but it seems like Blackheart has the upper hand in every way. He's got a 50% mass advantage. He's basically got Navy 1. He's got a T2 naval factory. He has air control. He does not, however, have a gun comm, so Mephi is definitely ahead of him in that regard.
Thanks for bringing that up, Brink.
So there's one way that Mephi could win this. I mean, if both of their ACUs just happened to end up in the same finger and were blocking each other's pathfinding so that they couldn't get to the water, theoretically Mephi would win. But I don't know how we arrange those circumstances.
I think I broke my game.
Oh, it stopped. So that means that probably 5 minutes in the future, the game has been decided, and more than likely Blackheart is the victor. Just looking at how the map is.
It is kind of a live replay, right? We are not observing it, but it's still a live replay. So perhaps they paused the game, and that's why it's not going on.
No, I'm pretty sure it would have ended. Let me see. Let me see on the challenge page if things have been advanced. And they have. Blackheart won the game. So that's that.
Who would have thought? Okay.
All right. That is going to wrap this one up. Let's go back out to the challenge page. GG all the way around, even though everyone in this game is a complete and utter troll, and I will never forgive you for as long as I live. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.